Whenever there's some type of challenge that happens in someone's life, there's usually some type of emotional bruise or trauma that gets left behind, especially if there is a big challenge. And everyone has primary ways of dealing with these emotions that start to arise within the body, right? Everyone has primary coping strategies. And I want to break down the 3 different ways that you can cope, and I want you to identify which out of these 3 is the primary way that you cope and which one do you feel like is going to be most effective moving forward. Because it's really important that we start to identify what are the patterns, because we can't change something if we're not aware of it. So I'm going to break down this acronym. I call it the FAN model, and I'm going to break it all down in reverse order of how most people cope with their emotions. So let me start with N. N stands for numbing. This is a very common way that I used to deal with my emotions, especially the very first 2 that I'm about to break down. These were the primary ways that I used to deal with my emotions, the uncomfortable emotions that started to arise. And some examples of numbing your emotions is things like binge eating, things like drinking alcohol, things like masturbating or having sex, or all these different ways. And hear me on this. It's not about the thing, it's about the place that it's coming from. I'm not saying that sex is bad or masturbation is bad. No. What I'm saying is, if you're doing it as a way to deal with these emotions that are coming up, instead of dealing with it in healthy ways, and you're forming some type of addiction through alcohol or through drugs to numb yourself from these emotions, then it could be really ineffective to your life, clearly, right? So that's the first way. N is numbing. So maybe that's the way that you deal with your emotions, right? For me, it was definitely binge eating in the past. Whenever there was a challenge or whenever I felt stressed, chocolate was my go-to choice of coping, right? So that's numbing. The next one, A stands for avoiding. This was also a very common way that I would deal with my emotions, cope with my emotions. And a subtle way that I used to cope was through avoiding, which was taking naps. Other ways that people avoid with their emotions is just getting on Instagram and getting on Facebook or watching a ton of YouTube videos. And again, there's nothing wrong with doing that. It's not about the thing, it's about the place that it's coming from. Last one, which is F. This is the thing that I'm doing to make sure that I'm alchemizing these emotions and transforming these ineffective emotions into effective emotions. And F stands for facing off with it. Whenever there's an emotion that is ineffective to your life, you can choose to numb, you can choose to avoid, or you can choose to face it. Now, there's multiple different ways that you can face your emotions, but a simple way that you can do it, and it doesn't matter where you are, doesn't matter, you don't have to spend any money, doesn't matter what time of the day it is simply sitting down for 7 to 10 minutes, breathing, and allowing yourself to feel whatever it is that is arising within your body at that time. If it's anger, if it's judgment, if it's self-judgment, if it's self-hate, if it's frustration, if it's depression, if you just allow yourself to fully accept and love these emotions that are coming up. Because when you get to the point when you are just falling in love with these emotions and not placing a moral judgment on these emotions, anger isn't bad. The judgment on that anger can create this havoc within you. Or lust. If you're in a relationship and you're having these lustful thoughts to another person, that's okay. If you just get to the point when you can accept these emotions and love these emotions for what they are in your body, which are just messages, then that's when you can transmute them into different emotions. So if you just allow yourself to breathe, if you just allow yourself to feel whatever it is that you're feeling, watch what happens. They will transmute into different emotions. Because what I've found from my own personal experience is that when I numb and I avoid those emotions, they stay. But when I face it, it leaves. I really hope that this short little video helped you out. If it did, please leave me a comment about what was most insightful to you. I love and read all of your comments, and it gives me feedback to keep going, to keep creating these videos if I can see that it's helpful to others. So go ahead, leave a comment down below, let me know what was most insightful, and I'll see you all in the next video.